Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for January 29th, 2020. Before we start, Prime Minister's Questions was on today, which means tonight, 9:30 PM GMT on this channel, there will be a response video to it, or live stream. Some have suggested a video format. No, I want to engage in the chat. It will mostly be centering around the Middle East and human rights and of course the sellout Trump trade deal. No link just yet, but do keep an eye out for it. It will be eventually a pinned comment here. If you are at all interested, please consider joining. Now today I want to talk about Nigel Farage. Haven't done that in a while, because it is in fact his last week as an MEP, being quite vocal on a number of issues that have arisen and of course his departure from the European Parliament. No doubt many people that have suffered his presence since 1999 when he was first elected are going to be breathing a rather large and collective sigh of relief. His no-nonsense approach can be quite taxing, so I've heard. Now, he has, courtesy of an interview with the Today programme, been speaking about a number of issues that can and cannot arise. For example, he believes that Brexit would mark the beginning of the end for the EU, saying that I think 2 years down the road there will be a big debate going on in many other countries about what kind of Europe do people want. Do they want a Europe of trading cooperation or a Europe run by these institutions in Brussels? And I think the UK's departure really will mark the beginning of the end for this European project. Ursula von der Leyen said in a recent speech that the issues surrounding Brexit and Brexit as a whole actually strengthened unity amongst the EU 27, saying that one consequence of the Brexit vote has been to strengthen the unity and the faith in Europe as a project for the common good. The truth is that Brexit has highlighted the value of being together in today's even more unsettled world. This is semi-supported by the fact that in many nations that are EU members, those that wish to remain is as high of 80%. Which I find to be quite, high. That does not mean, though, that given time, people won't start to then question where they want to be. And I like this idea, because many have posited this theory, that the only thing that keeps us all together and not going to war is the EU, forgetting here that we are now at peace. The EU is a trade agreement. Well, it was. Continuing with another series of questions, Nigel Farage went on to claim that the UK would get a good trade deal from the EU because it was in an enormously powerful position, saying, I think we're in an enormously powerful position. This is now genuine fear in this building I'm in this morning. He was in Brussels. About Brexit, and here's what the fear is, particularly coming from the Germans. They're very scared that we will become more competitive than they are, which I think is a good thing. The whole single market is based on this premise of a level playing field. It is actually anti-competitive by its very nature. And I think that is a very strong card for us to play because after all, we still buy an awful lot of German motor cars. I think the truth of it is, if we negotiate tough in this next round, we will come at the end of the year with something pretty reasonable. This is in fact supported by the fact that many manufacturers like BMW and, for example, Italian Prosecco producers need the UK to have easy access to the single market. The flip side to that, though, is that EU leaders are more interested in protecting the single market's integrity. This is supported by the Anglophobe Leo Varadkar, who believes the UK is in a weak position. Not sure, however, we should pay too much attention to him. Current polling, not sure he'll be there much longer. Give it time, though. We'll certainly find out. If the EU hold firm with their belief they must protect the integrity of the single market, thereby themselves harming their own manufacturers and trying to harm us in the process, we'll just go somewhere else, which is easier for us, since we can negotiate trade deals away from you. If we leave with no deal, then there will be a fresh issue, and certainly one that should not be considered to be crossed. A deal would be ideal, but it depends on who blinks first and who is better at the negotiating. Will it be Michel Barnier or whoever it is that Boris is entrusted with negotiating a trade deal? Personally, I want the UK to get the best possible deal possible, but I don't want us to be subservient to anything imposed by the EU. Our standards are ours alone, and they're higher for the most part than the EU's in the first place. So obeying their rules doesn't protect their single market at all. You need to deal with us. And if we make a success of this, you really need to deal with us. I like the idea of being more positive when it comes to how the UK proceeds post-Brexit, and it will certainly be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, whether you like Nigel Farage or not, today is his final day attending debates in the Parliament. I'm sure many of you are going to enjoy him just going back to LBC and doing whatever it is Nigel Farage does. I have no idea. I assume someone will wheel Anne Widdecombe back to the care home. It should be noted, the agreement has finally been delivered to the EU, courtesy of this picture. It should be quite interesting. Dominic Raab did, of course, sign the instrument of ratification. Congratulations, Dominic, you've actually amounted to something, which surprises me a little bit. When it comes to Friday, I'm actually very intrigued to see what happens, and I'm very much interested to know what you think. Whether you like Farage or not, one of the reasons he keeps cropping up in the media is because for the most part he's been proven right on so many things. So using him now while somewhat mostly unpopular and yet simultaneously popular is guaranteed to get clicks on articles and of course interviews, views. So please do let me know in the comments below.